Hey guys, welcome back. So today I'm going to try to get this wood split up. We got some really big rounds of wood. There's a lot more over to this side over here you probably can't see. But this one right here is the biggest one. And I'm going to try to get that split down into firewood size so that we can start it drying. So maybe next year we'll be able to burn it. So this is, these are massive rounds. I've tried to cut them where they're about a 16-inch thick. But the diameter of that round right there, in the widest part that it is 60 inches. I mean, that's huge. And it's so heavy I can't budge it. I can't move it at all. So what I'm going to try to do first is I'm actually going to try to see if I can split it by hand. I'm going to try a splitting axe. I'm going to try a splitting maul, maybe a splitting wedge in there, and see if I can get that broken into some smaller pieces, because right now it's so big I can't get it. I won't be able to probably get it in the hydraulic splitter at that size. So it is cold outside. That is going to make it easier. Wood splits easier the colder it is, at below freezing. I wish it was about 0 degrees. It'd probably split even easier. But it's about 20 degrees today. Hopefully that's going to help. But let's go ahead and see if I can at least get this split up into a couple bigger chunks by hand. Alright, first up's the splitting axe. Oh, and it stuck pretty good. Alright, time to try the splitting maul. Oh. Holy cow. Well, I guess I'll try a splitting wedge next. Hopefully I got a spot, a groove deep enough I can get this started. Oh. Let me catch my breath. That makes you feel like you're severely out of shape. So you know what they say? Whew! Oh. So you know what they say? Firewood warms you up many times. When you cut it down, when you split it up, when you stack it, and when you finally burn it. I guess I'm on round 2 of being warmed up by this wood. You can see I drove my wedge in completely, and it split from about here all the way across to there. It didn't go any farther than that. So the higher up you get, the more tree rings you get. So I've got a tree ring here, I've got a tree ring here, and then I've got one over here, and there may be another one here. So this wood is not going to want to split with all these different tree rings. I need to find me another wedge and put it over here, I guess. See if I can finally get this to split. Well, I didn't end up finding another splitting wedge. It does look like that it might be slightly cracked right here, so I might get this to split. Oh, and I might not. Oh. Well, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to split that up by hand. It's too big to move around. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the chainsaw. We're going to cut this in half. Maybe the 2 halves will be more of a manageable size. tell you what, that's a workout. Oh, that was still too big to really move around, even cutting it in half. So I'm gonna catch my breath here for a second. And then I'm gonna take just that one big round we split up. I'm gonna split that into firewood, see how big of a stack we get just from that one piece of wood. And then after that, I guess I'll move on to the rest of it. There's only one other piece that's so big that I think I'll have to cut in half. I think the rest of them I'll be able to move around. But the problem is that whole trunk of that tree, basically it's all twisted up. I mean, there's limbs that come out of it everywhere. There ain't a straight piece of grain hardly in that whole thing. So it's really about ripping through the wood than it is splitting it. So it's a real chore. But trying to move those rounds and keep them on top of this bottom plate that it splits against. Oh man, I don't know if you noticed I was using a pry bar and some pieces of wood, and I was trying to move it around with that pry bar, use some leverage. That is a job right there. So, yep, as soon as I catch my breath here, we'll go to splitting this up. Well, I have been at this for 2.5 hours now, and I've just got the first round of wood split up. Now that was a big piece of wood. That was our biggest piece of wood. Even after it was cut up, it was really hard to just get it in the splitter and get it split into chunks. So I mean, that one piece of wood took a while. Now it did make a nice little pile of firewood, and I've got about 5 more pieces that I need to split up. And one of those I probably need to get the chainsaw and cut in half because it's still a pretty good size. Now I know a lot of people out there wanted to take like a slab of it because it was just so big. And like a thin slab of it, maybe 4 inches thick, make like a tabletop of it, out of it. Now that does sound like a pretty cool idea and that would look neat. But this tree is what they call a soft maple. It's not a hard maple. So it's not a desired tree to use for woodworking. And it's really not desired. A lot of people wouldn't even burn this in a fireplace or a wood stove. But I'm not real picky on the wood that I burn. I don't really want this to go to waste. As long as it's good and dry, so I'll let this sit over there for probably a year or 2 before I ever burn it. And it'll be nice and dry. And then I will use it for firewood. So I'm not too picky on it as long as it's dry. So I don't have too much time left tonight. I'm gonna have to start putting the animals up here pretty soon. So I'll probably come back in the morning and I'll finish this up. We'll get all of that split up and then we'll get it hauled over to the wood pile. And hopefully the goat area will be back to normal. So. that was a workout. Well, I think my glasses, they fogged up a little bit and froze a little bit. I couldn't hardly see anything. Well, I got it all split up into at least big chunks where I can lift them up and put them on the log splitter. Man, that was more work than it should have been, I guess. I should have made that easier on myself. So the guys who said I should have cut those into smaller chunks beforehand, you guys were absolutely right. Yeah. They were big and hard to manage, especially with all the snow. And yeah, I think next time I'll definitely try to just go ahead, take the chainsaw and cut them into smaller pieces. But I'm a little bit stubborn, and I just like to play around and see exactly how big of a chunk of wood I can split with that splitter. But the trouble with that is I have to try to move that big chunk of wood around. So while I was doing this was difficult, and everything was slippery with the snow. In fact, I slipped trying to move probably that first big piece, trying to move it around. I slipped and I hit my chin on the stump, and it bruised it, maybe bloodied it a little bit. And yeah, so I gotta admit, when that happened, I thought, well, maybe I should just say forget it and just quit while I'm ahead, come back when it's not snowy. But then that stubbornness came back out, and I'm like, I'm gonna get this done. Not 100% done because I didn't split it all the way into firewood, but I'm happy that it's at least split up where I can at least pick it up, put it on a trailer. I can take it over to the fire pit, or to the firewood stack over there. Oh, I just really want to get this area cleaned up. I have a problem of, maybe you guys have the same problem. I have a problem of doing a job and I get it like 80% done, and then I walk away and then I forget about completing it the rest of the way. So I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to when I start a job, I'm trying to just go ahead and get it all done, and that includes the cleanup. I have that bad tendency of, I do a job, I get it to where it's functional, and then I don't clean up all my tools or put everything away. So that's why I'm sticking with this. I've got some other trees that I want to mess with, but I want to get this one 100% done and all this out of the goat pen. But I gotta admit, I'm pretty worn out after that. I'm probably gonna wait. I'm gonna come back another day and load this stuff up on a trailer. I think I am done for today. That has been a workout right there, I'll tell you. Well, at least it was pretty windy when I started. It's not as windy as it was. And I definitely, like I said earlier, the firewood gives you lots of heat. I was sweating. In fact, I had sweat dripping down me, and then I think it was freezing on my neck. That's a weird feeling, I'll be honest with you. So I definitely stayed warm because I was working so hard. But anyway, I think that's it for today's video. I got it split up, and it was more of a job than I should have made it. Next time, I will cut those into smaller chunks, make it a lot more manageable. It's one thing when you can kind of move them around fairly easily, but man, those were they were so hard to just even pick up and roll around. So, whew, what a day. All right, well, I think that's it, guys. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. And hopefully this bruise is gone by then.